Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am really glad you're here. Today's date is Sunday, July 28th, 2024. On Friday, when speaking to Turning Point Action, our 45th president used some unusual wording in exhorting the Christian vote to not be underrepresented in the next balloting issue in November. I have to be careful my word use here. So let's take a look at that wording and see if we can get a little more information and insights about what was meant. And it's going to be kind of a rabbit trail because I saw that, call that point A. I read something, we'll call that point B. And it made me wonder if it all comes together, making conclusion C. We'll find out as we go, I guess. The compilation I take you to, if it interests you, you can click on the Facebook link. But I will try to mention where I found these things in case you would like to just search them out on your own, or for whatever reason you don't use the Facebook link. Not a problem. I just like to show people what has made me curious and where I read it. And I know that as people are learning to look up information on their own, that can kind of be appreciated at times. All right, well, if you go to this link, thehill.com had a nice article talking about what Mr. Trump was urging Christians to do in November and what he said. I'll get to that in a little bit. Now, that was point A. Point B, and I thought about making this a whole separate video, but I think it may have something to do with A, is the fact that AMG News is reporting that Mr. Trump's plane has 55 stars on its flag. They wondered if it was a mistake. Well, there's no mistakes, especially not in something that's so custom built as that, or if there's a messaging involved with it. I thought that was really interesting. Now, if you want to hear a clip, so you don't have to listen to the whole thing, of Mr. Trump saying what I'm going to quote here, you can click on this link here. It's already up on YouTube. Now, Christians, get out and vote just this time, Trump exclaimed to a cheering crowd in West Palm Beach, Florida. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It will be fixed. It will be fine. You won't have to vote anymore. My beautiful Christians, he added. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed. So good, you're not going to have to vote, Trump said. So what I wondered is Mr. T alluding to this word, the final word of the final post that was ever put out by the 17 team? Does he have some foreknowledge that nothing can stop what is coming, and what is coming is an ascension type of event? Well, that's a big one, but that's what I want to ask the cards about. Okay. Is there any, we'll have a yes or no element to this question. And of course, I'm asking for this timeline that I and most of you are on. And we want this information to be clear and easily understood and transparent. So we're asking, when Mr. T used that unique wording that we'd only need to vote one more time, because things would be beautiful, things would be fixed. So in other words, nothing alarming, okay? Was he, does he have some information or foreknowledge about an ascension type of event? And is that what he was alluding to? Plus other insights and information the universe wants us to know. So if my question doesn't have validity, we still have left the option open there for the universe to give us more insights and information. Now, some of my viewers have said they look forward to the day when I have to say these words. I'm going to switch the camera and move a cat. And indeed, I'll switch the camera real fast so you can see that I'm going to have to move the cat. There is sweet Alieska sleeping on the tarot table. So I will gently wake her up and move her and switch the camera and continue with the tarot portion of this video. I'll be back in just a minute. Does Mr. T have some sort of foreknowledge or information about an ascension type of beautiful event Was that what he was alluding to when he was telling Christians to please get out, don't be underrepresented in their voting proportionality, and that they'd only need to do it one more time, that things would be very beautiful and fixed? Then we have the Mr. T's personal jet has 55 stars on the flag. And the very last word of the very last post that 17 team ever put out was the word ascension. So is there a connection between these three items? And insights and information about what was meant in that speech would be very much appreciated. Okay, our first card is the Chariot. We've already got kind of an answer. I'll explain as I go. I am using the gold cards that I jokingly referenced or said were my Mr. T cards, my Trump cards, because he's very fond of the color gold. So I've decided when I have a Trump question, I'm using the Trump cards. Okay, the Chariot. Then we have the Queen of Wands. We have Four of Cups, Two of Pentacles, Fool, Seven of Cups, and Knight of Wands for our initial setup. Now, out of the initial 7 cards in this read, and I will get 2 more before we're done, we have 1, 2 major arcanas. They are positioned in a place, though, for the present and the future that's pretty much very interesting. The Chariot is considered the younger version of the Emperor. Okay, so we were asking about Mr. T's meaning in that speech, where he was saying things will be fixed, they'll be beautiful, we've just got to vote one more time and we won't have to do it again. And then we have his plane with the 5 extra stars on it, the 55 stars, which there's been speculation that we will move to a type of plane of existence, especially post-ascension, where the groupings are somewhat different. There'll be Canada will be with North America and Australia. And if you haven't read about that, I encourage you to do some reading, because it's an interesting theory and possibility for how things could change as our world goes from dark to light. Now, yeah, he is talking about some kind of an event, because the Chariot shows up when there is a move that's going to happen. Plain and simple. That's why I said we've already got kind of an answer here with the Chariot showing up. Now, the Queen of Wands is giving a little more, clarifying that information a little bit. Okay, and she is indicating that we can be optimistic about the changes that are coming. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is an accomplishment. So again, nothing can stop what is coming, and what's coming is wonderful. We're getting that from the cards very solidly. In the recent past, okay, this talks about looking at things from a wider perspective so that you don't miss out on anything. And the possibilities have been widened for not just my country, but for humanity in general, because we were willing to widen our view of what is reality, what is possible, what our potential is or could be and should be. And those possibilities have been factoring into some changes that are in the wind for us. Now, in the near future, the present card, we have the Two of Pentacles. This is a card of balance. And yeah, I do see, I've heard over and over again, people say that we are in a 3D, a third density type of reality, moving into fifth with kind of a acclimation stop in the fourth density before we go up. Think of a diver coming up from a deep dive. They have to take it in stages so they don't get the bends. Okay, it does look like there's going to be 2 paths here that for people to follow and to work on their growth and ascension at whatever rate that they are at. Now, I don't want to get into questions because I don't have total access to information. So please, if you're worried about will this split up families or what have you? I'm not seeing anything about that. I'm just seeing that the possibilities is that there's two options here that can be pursued for our path. And if there's more to find out, we'll find out as we go in this read or in future reads. So just don't put words in my mouth, okay? But that's what I'm saying. It looks like, and a reassurance that again, we have reason for optimism and that it's beautiful and it's very balanced. Balancing wants and needs is integral to what changes are coming about. Absolutely. And those changes are taking us, we got the Fool. He's setting out on a new path, a new journey. So yeah, we are going to have some world or reality changes that come up in the near future. And that was what Mr. T was alluding to in that. It wasn't just, he wasn't saying anything that would be harmful, anything that would be litigious, anything that would be unconstitutional. He was simply talking about, we've got big changes coming, folks. I promise you, you're going to be so happy with those changes. Our things are going to change in a very big way. And again, maybe it'll be that those 55 stars are in action and we don't have a typical two-party type of balloting process in 4 years. I think that's what he's saying. Let's look here a little farther at the near future. We've got, again, the Fool was telling us, first of all, fear not, but step out in faith. We've got some changes coming, and believe it or not, we're ready for them. We being the human race, we are ready for them. All right, now the 7 of Cups, there's choices. Again, we got the 2 here, the 7 here, talking about choices, but also realizing you have some choices to make them mindfully and kindly and lovingly. And then a little further insight and information coming from the Knight of Wands card. And he's always about action and moving. So we are getting ready to move. It's going to be big. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. Setting out on a whole new path with a whole lot less government. Mr. T has alluded to that also. And I think that, again, goes back to those 55 stars. Okay. And yeah, so he was trying to allude to that without going into too much detail too soon, or for an audience that wasn't ready for that type of detail. So that was really beautiful. I'm getting those 2 more cards, and let's see what they have for us. Magician, great. Major Arcana, and he is absolutely the card that presides over manifesting an infinite range of possibilities, which is something we can do as we learn our individual powers. And then we have the Hierophant. Again, another major arcana showing up again. These are for the near future. They're not quite as impactful as these, where you've got choices and you're ready for it, and the energy's there to set out on that new journey. This one reassuring us that we have the energy to do so. And this card kind of always has some wisdom associated with it. It can be a card that has a nod to negative type of energy, the former establishment type of thing. But there is some wisdom to it, but I'm not seeing it as negative, especially next to the Magician card, which is just saying, no matter what options are out there for you, make them kindly, we can make them happen. And yes, we've got the wisdom and the ways and the means to do it and to not be fooled into a false path. So that's what I'm getting from these cards. And I think it's really beautiful information. And I thank you, Mr. T, for having 55 stars on your jet and for making that speech on Friday to Turning Point Action. Let's recap. On Friday, Mr. T made a speech to Turning Point Action, and in it, he was not only encouraging Christians to get out and vote and be well represented in the next balloting opportunity, but he was saying that things would be so beautiful that it would be the last time we would need to vote in that type of an election. And that made me think right away, I want some more information about that, and that's where tarot comes in. But then I also read that there's some speculation going on that Mr. T's plane has an American flag on it with 55 stars. Now, if you're not in the United States, you may not be aware, but we've only got 50 states. And our current flag only has 50 stars on it as a result. And then I got to thinking about how this has always intrigued me, that the very last post that the 17 team put out in 2022, the very last word of that post was ascension. And I think we can't underestimate what that might be. That the importance of that word, that it's in capitals, it was chosen for a reason, and it is something to anticipate. And so I just asked the cards, is it possible? Is there the speculation that Mr. T was alluding to some sort of big, huge change in our reality that would fundamentally change balloting processes and maybe geography lines and what have you? Does he have some foreknowledge of that? Was he trying to reassure people that big change is coming, but it's beautiful and you'll love it? So that was kind of where we went with the question, and we got a really beautiful answer. Okay, first of all, Chariot showed up. I used my gold foil Mr. T cards, and the Chariot is a powerful major arcana. Usually shows up when there's a move about to happen. Okay, so again, yeah, we got a nod right here with the very first card down. Yeah, he was talking about having some foreknowledge. Now, how he got it, I don't know. If it was from looking glass technology, Tesla technology, quantum computers that can get to statistical probability so far in advance of what we can that it's just amazing. I don't know how he got it, but he was alluding to that with it. There is a move that is coming for this plane of existence, not just our country, but our plane of existence. Okay, and I need to specify that because that helps YouTube not mind my channel when I'm talking about global situations and world changes and things like that. So bear with me as I do that, because I want to make that clear. That is what this information seemed to be about, and that's what I'm speaking to. The Queen of Wands, optimism card, telling us more. You don't have to fear what is coming. There's nothing to fear. Okay, good change is coming, a move is coming, it's good. Then we got a little bit of the rationale behind this move. And it was a readiness on the part of humans. The human race was ready to look to a wider reality, to look beyond the current limits and boundaries of what we think are possible or what reality is or who we share that reality with. We're more open to the concept that we share this plane of existence with others, that we can have a loving collegial working relationship with others when we're ready for that. And that's why we had to show some readiness to get the help and to be positioned for the changes that are coming. There was, to me, a little reassurance here that there's still a choice in the matter, choice in the changes we accept or the pace we incorporate that change. And this is talking about each of us personally. And I said very specifically, I don't want to have questions from people saying, are you saying we'll leave lesser evolved family members behind? I'm not getting there with that. I'm just saying that there's been loving preparation done. We'll have some choices to make, and none of them are going to be heartbreaking. I don't get any heartbreak cards when I look at this kind of stuff. So I'm saying I don't know exactly how this change is going to come about. This move to 5D, this ascension event, the rapture event. I'm saying I don't know the exact specific details because I wasn't meant to know them. I'm just saying over and over again, I'm getting told that it is going to happen. Nothing can stop it, and it's going to be fantastic. Okay, near future card, we had the Fool show up. Fool always is setting out on a journey in just total faith, stepping out into something he hasn't experienced or done before, but without a worry or care in the world. And he makes his journey just fine with that kind of a mindset at the outset. We had the Magician show up, talking about we're in a position to manifest some of these beautiful changes. We're ready. We as a race are ready. And we individually have a lot of power to make things manifest. So whether that's good luck, bad luck, however you want to think of it, or making things happen, I do know just the law of attraction is very much a universal law that works amazingly well. And it boils down into some plain terms like you get what you give. So, or the golden rule, do unto others as you would have others do unto you, all comes back to that, manifesting. So there's across cultures, all cultures have that, some form of that golden rule, and that is manifesting. So it's an accepted, I would say, norm for what's possible in the universe. The Hierophant showed up talking about, I think, letting us know that changes had been done with a lot of wisdom and foresight going on, and that we also need to embody a little of that as we choose our path and just in everything that we do. Like I said, until our world fundamentally changes, I feel like I've got a huge responsibility to live a very kind life and be responsible within the parameters of this current reality. So yes, I pay my bills. Yes, I do this, I do that, whatever it might be. But I'm very conscious as I do that. I'm not doing it because I'm giving permission for that to remain the status quo, but simply because I'm trying to be a loving and responsible member of this reality until that reality changes, and it can't change too soon. So that's it for this video. I appreciate your time, your attention, your viewership, your willingness to think of items that aren't in the standard lexicon. And I do appreciate that very much. And sometimes we hit it out of the ballpark and sometimes we miss, but hey, we're willing to consider some things and have a broader perspective. And I think that the universe is really pleased with that. And that's one of the reasons why we have been chosen to be ready for some beautiful change. Until next time, if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and wish for you everything bright. Bye.